Kerala is playing a victim card.
We have always been paying. നമ്മളിത് പണ്ട് തുടങ്ങിയതല്ലേ കേന്ദ്രത്തിനെ കുറ്റം പറയുന്നത്. Easy way out, no, politically. So center state financial problem is not a unique problem of Kerala. 90% of the problems are germane to all the states. Our financial discipline is not all that great. So everything transferring your inefficiency to the center, accusing the center, is a politically convenient shortcut method. And I am not saying that the BJP government is, all that great ethical principles and all that they do. But you should be prepared for that. Because politically you are opposed to each other.
ഈ സാറിപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞതനുസരിച്ചാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കേരളത്തിൽ ഒരു സാമ്പത്തിക പ്രതിസന്ധിയില്ല. ഈ സംസ്ഥാന ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ സാമ്പത്തിക നയങ്ങളാണ് ചില പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്.
നയങ്ങൾ മാത്രമല്ല, വർക്കിംഗ് എഫിഷ്യൻസി. ബിക്കോസ് ഈ ടാക്സിൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് നയം. യു already, because GST is not your rate, it's all India rate. So there is no your policy there. Non-tax income, non-tax revenue, you have already given your own rates for absolute terms or the rates. That you have not updated properly indexed, that's a different matter. There is no policy there. So how to translate your policy into actual collection? That's where the big problem. That is compounded by the norms adopted by the 15th Finance Commission. That's what I will not say that there is no problem arising from centers, policies or financial management. And I have to be careful there. And then Government of India is an entity, whoever may come into power. And it is strongly based on a constitutional framework. For the divisible pool, which is the taxes collected by the center and the states, it is divided by an expert committee, Finance Commission, which is constitutionally constituted. And it's not reporting to any political boss. The report is given to the government to submit to the parliament. And there they go by a norm. Now you can say that norm sometimes they squeak it in favor of the ruling party or some other consideration, because the government appoints the commission, and if the commission is pliable, there is a possibility. That much discretion is there. But Kerala, Tamil Nadu and southern Indian states, Maharashtra and Gujarat included, these are richer states. Their complaint is that their share has come down. Their share has come down mainly because the 15th Finance Commission shifted the population criteria from 1971 distribution of population to 2011 distribution. In that, those states which have made a progress in demographic transition, they don't gain much. You have not added much. But states like, poorer states like what we call, not jokingly, but partly correctly, partly acronym, Bimaru states, they have increased their population much faster than the others. So they get a little more weightage. That doesn't mean they are getting more if you go by per capita, because they have more people. So that judgment we can't say. In that we have experienced a slightly lower share. For 2.8 ആയിരുന്നു 14th, now 1.9 നമ്മുടെ share. Whatever is earmarked for states, 42%, അതിൻ്റെ division ആണത്. Tamil Nadu has suffered more than Kerala. അതിൽ രണ്ട് കാരണങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ഒന്ന്, although the NK Singh was the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, lot of states are represented to him, saying that if you do this, you are discriminating the good ones, the performers, and incentivizing the non-performers. And there is a point in that. Although their poverty and backwardness is not only due to governance, there are historical and other structural factors. So what the Finance Commission did finally is that, okay, we are giving 15% weightage to population, but we are also giving a 12.5% weightage for demographic performance. So you are neutralizing to some extent. For 15% in the 12.5%, then the real net added weightage is only 2.5%. But they also added an environmental dimension, which we benefited. Tamil Nadu and others lost. The percentage of area under forests. So we happen to be one of the states with a reasonably higher, more than national average, 27% of the area is. Because this is now based on remote sensing surveys, so nobody can really manipulate that. And there is an annual forest report on forest cover, green cover, and then they decide which is forest and all that. That we gained, but Tamil Nadu doesn't have a favorable factory lab, so they lost out a little more. So there is a small reduction, but that reduction has helped the poorer states. Now there is an ethical problem. You don't want to help your own brothers and cousins in a federal setup. Everything should come to me so long as it suits my principles. I don't consider it as fair. You can argue in the Finance Commission and all that, but finally there is a kind of give and take. So adundu matram, when you just focus your attention anti-center, it's not anti-center, it's actually the way Finance Commission decided about its norms. But Tamil Nadu has equal problem, Karnataka has problem, Maharashtra has problem, Gujarat has problem. So that's the truth of the matter. Then the real discretionary powers of the central government is in transferring or giving grant. Aditya, there are two kinds. One is centrally sponsored schemes, National Health Mission or ICDS and all that. There they already have worked out a principle which is applicable to all the states. 60% center, 40% states. Earlier it was 75-25. Because the 14th Finance Commission reduced the number of, when Y.V. Reddy was chairman, reduced the number of centrally sponsored schemes, and therefore reducing the discretionary power, and increased the state's share from 32% to 42% of the divisible pool. So they reduced the discretionary element there actually. Although no state really benefited by this 42%, because there is a corresponding decrease in centrally sponsored schemes. So centrally sponsored schemes between Kerala and center, there cannot be any particular problem unlike other, or let me put it this way, that Kerala's problem is not a unique problem. But all states have. If you want to really get your money on time, then you must send the utilization certificate. You must, all the procedures should be fulfilled. We often lack in that. Our financial discipline is not all that great. The third element is discretionary grants from the center. Adina yavadru principle illa. That discretionary grants Constitution has given them is calamities, floods, typhoons or drought. So whenever there is a calamity, central team will come, assess it and give a package to the center. There they can, if they want, they can favor some, they can give a little more to favored states, but that space is also all that not great. And I am not saying that the BJP government is, all that great ethical principles and all that they do, but you should be prepared for that. Because politically you are opposed to each other. So and if you want to correct this discretionary, that small space, then you must get the cooperation of other states. So my argument has been in public, I always said, that if Kerala and Government of India has a public finance problem, and the problem is not unique to Kerala, then you should get the cooperation of other states, demand it. Maybe some has to do with the GST administration. Then you put it up in the GST Council. Some has to do with the norms given to other centrally sponsored schemes. Then you get the support of other states. In fact, Finance Minister Balagopal told us in that GIFT Gulati Institute conference that we do talk about in All India councils, GST council. But when the decision comes, central government makes its own decision, and most of the states just go by that. So maybe Tamil Nadu and Kerala will, average a bickering, but it doesn't really make this thing. So center, so everything transferring your inefficiency to the center, accusing the center, is for a politically convenient shortcut method. But it's not 100% and black and white. You put your house in order, then you will be in a much better position. Your credibility will be much higher to argue with the center. So the space is, then there are other problems. The finance minister, I should mention this. He said there are two kinds of shortfalls. One is revenue deficit grant, which the Finance Commission gives to each state, which is now already over for us. And the other is GST compensation. Now, revenue deficit grant is because you are committing deficits. So the Finance Commission comes and examines in every state, and wherever there is a high deficit, and they would see whether it is appropriate or whether it is admissible, then they give a compensation package. It's like your son is working hard, but he is still short of money, though you pay him a little bit. It's not a right. So we should then see that we don't commit revenue deficits year after year. GST compensation, the GST Council decided it only for 5 years. That's all states put together and the center. Of course, center may have a greater influence, but then you argue there and every state will come with you, because except Maharashtra, all the states are receiving GST compensation. Maharashtra has a higher collection, so they are not eligible for GST compensation. All the other states suffer. So again, center state financial problem is not a unique problem of Kerala. 90% of the problems are germane to all the states.
So do you think Kerala is playing a victim card?
We have always been paying. നമ്മളിത് പണ്ട് തുടങ്ങിയതല്ലേ കേന്ദ്രത്തിനെ കുറ്റം പറയുന്നത്. Easy way out, no, politically. Why don't you set up an independent commission and then see what exactly is the discrimination that we have suffered and what is the extent of discrimination because we are Kerala, and see the other discrimination which are germane to all the states. You separate that.